everyone, so today I have another video in this series of how to make worship flags, and today I'm going to show you guys how to make your fiberglass rods fully coated. So obviously when you buy your fiberglass rods, they are not fully coated, and if you've used them long enough, you know that running your hands up and down them can cause you to get fiberglass splinters that you cannot get out, and that doesn't feel great. It's a terrible feeling to have those in your hand. So we definitely have to be careful when we use fiberglass rods in our silk worship flags. The reason I started using or creating fully enclosed or fully coated fiberglass rods is because the Lord gave me a vision in a dream one night for hybrid worship flags, where I could create a worship flag where the rod pocket opened and I could insert wooden dowels, fiberglass rods, acrylic rods, and even turn them into weighted worship flags. And so as I got this vision from the Lord, I was not really sure how I was going to do that, because I knew, as well as the next person, that taking fiberglass rods in and out of your worship flags, you ran the risk of, getting these splinters, and nobody wants to deal with that. And so just through thinking about it, the Lord, I don't know why he brought this to my mind. I would have never thought about it on my own, but he did bring it to my mind. And so I found this on Amazon, and basically I use heat shrink tubing to cover the fiberglass rods. And so this is what I use. I'll leave a link in the description below. But this link, or this tubing, actually reacts to the heat and shrinks down and seals up around the fiberglass rod. And this is what the tubing looks like. It comes super long and curly, and it's on this, but this is it. This is all I have left. So this is kind of off the spool. And it's super easy to do. The first thing you need to do actually is to make sure that your fiberglass rods are cut down to length, because you don't want to cut them once you have heat sealed them with this tubing. So I suggest go ahead and cut your rods. My rods do need to be cut a little bit, and what I do is I lay my rods side by side to make sure that they're the exact same length. And if you can see that little black dot right there, I just take a Sharpie and I mark exactly where I want to cut them. Cutting fiberglass rods is not very difficult. I actually use, these are PVC pipe cutters that I use to make frames for painting silk. And I actually use these to cut my rods because it's almost razor sharp. And so I don't get a whole lot of fraying at the end of my fiberglass rods. So I just do it at the very, very back of the blade. If you do it up here, it doesn't really do well. You really kind of have to do it at the bottom. But I just line it up with the very bottom. So just line my mark up down there, and I chop it, and that's chopped. So just do those right quick, and then I will show you how to heat seal your fiberglass rods. Okay, sorry, that's really loud. I know that these are I'm on a plastic table, so it's super loud. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your rod and you are going to insert it into the tubing. So the tubing has a little hole. You just stick that into there, and you go all the way down until you get to the very top, and then you're going to cut your tubing so that your rod is fully encased. Once your rod is fully encased, see, this is where my rod ends. We're just gonna go all the way up to the very top. Once it's all encased and you have the red tubing cut to length, then you can begin to heat seal it. And to heat seal it, you're gonna need a heat gun. And this is the heat gun I use. I got this off of Amazon. It's Seek 1 heat gun. It's an 1800 watt. And I have this little adapter on the top, and that adapter I actually will stick the rod in through that there, and it actually kind of blows the heat all the way around the tubing and keeps it from burning. So we're just gonna move it at a steady pace all the way to the end, and it'll seal it up. So let me get the, what is this even called? Heat shrink tubing. Let me get the heat shrink tubing onto my fiberglass rods, and then we will get started heating them up. Okay, so you just turn your heat gun on. And just starting at one end. Don't get your fingers near the heat source because it will burn you pretty good. So you can already see how it has shrunk around the end there. I think you can see that. All right, so let's just keep going. Okay, so that's it. Covering your fiberglass rods with some heat shrink tubing is super easy. And now you're able to run your hands across your fiberglass rods without getting fiberglass splinters into your hands. And now you can use your fiberglass rods in your worship flags that have an removable rod system in it. So, and I just showed you guys how to make that in a previous video. So be sure to check that out if that's something you're interested in. But yep, they do not lose their ability to bend with the heat shrink on them, and they continue to pop back into space or into place. So yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave those below, and I will leave all the links for the products that I've used in the description.